McLaren's on top, Red Bull's in the wall, and Tim Kraaij from GPblog on the core niche. It's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix Friday. Free practice 1, free practice 2 are complete. A little bit of drama. Wasn't the most representative session as ever. It's difficult to see where the cars are going to be, but we know that there's a good chance McLaren are going to be on top. We've also learned a little bit today that Red Bull may not have to worry about one team taking one of their drivers, because we had James Vowles in a media session, Tim, and James was saying some interesting things about Max Verstappen.
Yeah, there in the whole media session, there was one little bit sneaky question in there because James Vowles used to work for Mercedes, of course. And the question was, would you, if you were still in your position at Mercedes, take someone on like Max Verstappen, which is the big talking point, of course. And James had quite a big statement on that he doesn't think Max would be the right fit for Mercedes. They have two very good drivers, with Kimi up and coming and George already being near the top, according to James. And James was like, you don't need to steer that up with someone like Max. Max could give that little bit of extra maybe because he's a 4-time world champion. And James understated that, but he also said there are coming some disadvantages with getting Max into the team, with him really wanting to win everything at all costs. And it was in line with the chat I had last week with Gwen Lagrue, the head of the driver development program of Mercedes, who also had the ambition or has the ambition with Toto Wolff as well to get a Mercedes driver to become a world champion. Would you like to steer that up with a completely new driver from the outside who has the ambition of becoming world champion himself?
Well, Max, if he can't get himself to Mercedes, can go to Alpine. They look pretty damn quick in FP1 earlier today. Pierre Gasly on top. Let's keep on the Max side of things. Red Bull, of course, still chasing. They looked a little bit more on top, a bit closer in Saudi, a little bit similar to Japan. I know that you've spoken with Helmut today, and has he got anything to say about where Red Bull's direction is going?
Helmut was surprisingly optimistic. We've seen him this season a few times now already, almost after every Friday, and it was always a little bit, not very happy because the performance was not there. But Marko was very optimistic. He was saying like McLaren is still the best car out there and probably will finish 1 and 2. But they had the best Friday in ages, is what Helmut told us after FP2. So yeah, they found a good for qualifying. They have still some issues for the race pace. They issues with tire wear and tires getting too hot during the long run stint they did. So they need to work on that. But Marko was quite optimistic that they could fix that for tomorrow. So they have some homework to do, Robson, but it seems all positive. And that's quite positive for a change. And also they in the past they did a lot of engine downscaling here at certain tracks on Friday, and they stopped doing that because, like Marko said, they don't want to guess all the time where they are. They just want to know where they are. So they're now making sure they have the engine at a proper level so they can really compare themselves with the competition.
Well, the engines are at proper level behind you. That the Porsche is heading off, I assume, Tim. Let's wrap up quickly then before it gets a little bit too loud, because Red Bull have got some work to do. And Yuki's car, that looked a bit more damaged than the actual crash, which was quite slow. But did Marko have anything to say about Yuki's trip to the wall?
Yeah, overall, it was quite a positive day for Yuki again. He had quite good pace in the short run. The long run seemed quite okay as well. But then, very strangely, he crashed into the wall on the inside during a long run, which seems a bit odd. And then, of course, couldn't control the car anymore and was a passenger into the wall. Marko was pleased with his run, his short runs. When asked if it was a concentration thing that Yuki got himself into the wall, there was a long, awkward silence, a little smile from Helmut Marko, and then finishing off with, "We have to talk to him." So I think that says it all. And of course, it's a concentration thing if you crash into the wall during an FP2 in a long run stint. It's not the most easiest track out here. I've run it myself yesterday, and even when running, it feels quite close, everything. And with the speed those guys do, it's not very strange that someone hits the wall.
It's a 100% safety car record, of course. We saw plenty of people hitting the wall over the free practice sessions, and we'll hear more about that, presumably when somebody hits the wall and makes qualifying exciting. It was extended last year, I remember. Tomorrow, when we speak to you again after qualifying, Tim, thank you so much for all of the updates. It's been, again, really insightful, and thank you, everybody, for watching.